There's an invisible struggle playing out inside many of us, not because it's unreal, but because it's become our normal. We wake up exhausted, move through life on autopilot, and fight to feel something true. We point to work, to screens, to the noise around us, yet deep down, we sense it's not just external. Something within us is misaligned. And no, you're not lazy or broken. You're exhausted in a way that rest alone won't heal. The solution isn't more distraction or more pushing. It's about returning to what centered you. Small, purposeful habits that restore your mental clarity, your energy, your inner balance. That's where we're going today. 10 deep ways to reconnect with yourself and reset from the inside out. These aren't fads. They're rooted practices, timeless, tested by life, backed by Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Today we take that power back. If this message resonates, click subscribe. It's a small act that helps this community grow. Let's begin where strength truly starts, within. It's time to end that silent struggle. Some mornings, even getting up feels like a battle. Not from laziness, but from a heaviness that doesn't show. It's like your mind is trudging through mud, and simple tasks feel twice as hard. That weight, it's not just mental, it's physical. And when you're in that state, moving your body is the last thing you want. But ironically, movement is the very medicine you need. It doesn't need to be extreme. No one's asking for hours at the gym or long runs. This isn't about changing your body, it's about reconnecting with it. Movement isn't only physical, it's chemical. It clears the brain, releases emotions, and breaks the fog you've been stuck in. Small physical actions increase dopamine, the chemical of drive and joy. Your body isn't just a vessel for your mind. It holds tension, stress, even memory. Carl Jung said, "What you resist persists." And when you resist movement in low states, you cling to blocked emotions your body wants to release. Movement is a signal, I'm ready to let go, and let's drop the pressure. Movement doesn't have to be a performance. It doesn't need trackers or routines. It could be you walking barefoot at sunrise, stretching while coffee brews, dancing badly in your kitchen. It's not about form. It's about presence, shifting your state not through thinking, but through motion. Aristotle said, "Life is movement." He wasn't promoting exercise. He spoke a truth. When we stop moving, we stagnate, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So, if you feel stuck, don't sit in it, move through it. Let your body take the lead. The mind will follow. This isn't just philosophy, it's science. Movement releases dopamine, yes, but also serotonin, norepinephrine, endorphins. A chemical flood that clears mental clutter. Even the Stoics understood this link. Cleanthes, an early Stoic, worked with his hands by night, taught philosophy by day. Physical labor was a mental discipline. Movement wasn't a burden, it was a gift. Remember Socrates? He walked the streets to think. His student Plato designed his academy for walking conversations. They knew motion nourished thought. So next time your mind feels jammed, don't overthink, move. Intentionally, even clumsily. Shake loose the stuckness. Remind yourself, you're alive, you're capable, you're in charge. You don't need a plan, just a step. Because staying still only tightens the trap. Movement tells your nervous system, we're not stuck, we're in motion. There's something strangely comforting about staring into the fridge when life feels off. You're not hungry, you're searching for peace, for control, for comfort. We've all been there, eating from stress, habit, restlessness, or late-night feelings. But here's what we don't think about. It's not just our body that's eating. Our brain is too, and our brain is selective. What we feed it matters. Dopamine, the molecule of motivation and stability, is built directly from what you eat. Protein, good fats, leafy greens, berries, tyrosine-rich foods, they're raw material for dopamine. When you give your brain quality input, it rewards you with focus, energy, and balance. Now look at the alternative. Sugar spikes, junk food, greasy meals. They give you a temporary high, then the crash comes, the slump, the guilt, the cycle repeats. You're not broken. You're in a loop your body didn't choose. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life. That applies to food too. We don't eat from hunger. We eat from emotion, anxiety, boredom, loneliness. Food becomes a patch, not a healing. But Band-Aids don't build you. The Stoics warned us. Seneca spoke against indulgence, saying excess dulls clarity and strength. He wasn't just talking about drink. He meant any behavior that keeps us numb, even that extra cookie when you're low. To the Stoics, discipline meant liberty, freedom from being ruled by impulse. And no, eating mindfully doesn't mean becoming a diet robot. It means pausing to ask, how do I want to feel after this? Grounded, energized, or bloated, dull, drained? Every bite is a message, not just to your stomach, but to your future self. Aristotle said virtue lies in balance, not extremes. You don't have to cut everything out, just add more that helps. More color, more nutrients. Real food that feeds your brain and spirit. What you eat shapes how you think, how you feel. That's powerful. Food isn't just fuel, it's signals. Every meal tells your brain, you're safe, you're held, you're supported. That kind of nourishment builds emotional strength. Socrates said, the unexamined life isn't worth living. Maybe the unexamined plate is part of that. Because when you notice why you're reaching, you gain choice, not from guilt, but from self-respect, from alignment, from the desire to live clearly, not chaotically. Somewhere along the line, we started treating sleep as a luxury, a reward. Something you get after the work, after the scroll, after everything else. We wear exhaustion like a trophy, as if running on fumes proves drive. But here's the truth. You can't outwork a nervous system that's burnt out. You can't fake energy your body didn't earn. Let yourself rest. Really think about this. What's the first thing we sacrifice when life gets hectic? Sleep. And yet it's the one thing holding the rest together. Your mood, your memory, your drive. Without deep, restful sleep, your brain chemistry deteriorates. Dopamine, that fuel for motivation and balance, starts to deplete. Missing sleep doesn't just make you tired, it knocks you off center. Your reward system stalls, and suddenly simple tasks like making coffee or replying to a text feel monumental. Aristotle once said, in darkness we must focus to see the light. But how can you focus when your mind is clouded by exhaustion? When you feel fragmented inside, sleep becomes the beacon, the reset you didn't know you needed. Stoicism, too, urges us to live intentionally. Marcus Aurelius, emperor, soldier, philosopher, wrote, when you rise, reflect on the privilege of being alive. But that presence starts the night before. If you want a calm, clear mind at dawn, you must prepare it with rest at dusk. And this isn't about expensive tools or rituals. It's about simple boundaries. Lower the lights, unplug from the scroll. Let your body shift from productivity to presence. Make your room a place of signal, not stimulation, not a second office, a place of stillness. A signal that says, here we exhale. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, the hidden parts we ignore. Sleep deprivation is one of them. We minimize it, deny it, until it shows itself as irritability, confusion, anxiety. Jung said people would do anything to avoid facing their own soul. Sometimes resting is that confrontation. Slowing down isn't weakness, it's courage. It's saying, I'm not a machine, I'm human. Plato once said rhythm and harmony infuse the soul. And that's not just philosophy, it's biology. Your circadian rhythm is a built-in compass. When you respect it, sleeping consistently, dimming the world, giving your senses peace, you restore balance. So if you've been pushing through, telling yourself, I'll sleep when things slow down, this is your wake-up call to go to bed. Because tomorrow's clarity is built tonight, not just through hustle, but through rested effort. The kind that comes from a restored body. We rush from task to task, screen to screen, never pausing long enough to hear ourselves think. We assume we're escaping stress, but really we're just drowning it in distraction. Silence? Silence is where truth lives. But most of us fear it. Be honest. When was the last time you sat in complete stillness? No phone, no planning, no multitasking, just you in your body with your breath. It feels uncomfortable, even strange. But that tension, it's not a red flag. It's a message. We're not just overstimulated, we're overloaded. Your nervous system was never built for constant input. And when it's fried, your brain's balance chemicals crash, dopamine included. Not because you're doing too little, but because you never stop. Stillness is the antidote, not some app or perfect Zen routine. Just 5 minutes. Breath, awareness, no pressure to perform, just being. Carl Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." That's what stillness gives you, a chance to wake up to your inner world. Marcus Aurelius, in his private writings, reminded himself daily, "The quietest place is within." He faced empires, yet made time to reflect in silence, not to escape life, but to engage with it better. In the quiet you hear yourself, the tired parts, the cluttered thoughts, and you start to understand. Stillness isn't emptiness, it's space. And space is where healing begins. Aristotle said, "Deep thought contemplation is the highest activity, and contemplation requires space. Remove distractions, even briefly, and your mind breathes." Dopamine rises, not from hype, but from harmony. Socrates taught that self-inquiry is wisdom's foundation. "The unexamined life isn't worth living," he said, "but you can't examine what you never pause to see." Stillness creates that window, and this isn't just mental, it's biological. Science shows mindful moments elevate dopamine and serotonin. Your body settles, your emotions balance, your choices sharpen. Stillness makes you a better version of yourself. You don't need a mountain cabin, just a moment, a single breath, a short walk without a phone, a few evening minutes where you just sit and exist. Because what your mind craves isn't another podcast. It's processing. It's time to breathe through what you've already absorbed. Stillness offers that. Stillness returns you to you. There's a unique rush in completing a task, even a small one. Drinking water, responding to a text. It's not just emotionally rewarding, it's biochemical. That surge you feel, that's dopamine, your brain's way of saying, "Yes, that mattered, keep going." And the more you recognize those wins, the more driven you feel to keep showing up. Here's where many of us fall short. We wait for the big moment to feel proud. When the book is done, the business built, the transformation complete. But our brains need micro-rewards. We need reminders. You're moving. Carl Jung said, "Creation is driven by play, by inner necessity." And that inner drive, that need to create, to express, to grow. It's not fueled by perfection, it's fueled by progress. Messy progress, slow, real progress, because action builds belief. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus said, "First decide who you want to be, then do what needs to be done." He didn't say wait until you are that person. He said start. Becoming is in the doing. Each small step you take, each moment you show up, is you shaping who you're becoming. Discipline doesn't come from theory. It comes from consistently choosing what's aligned. Imagine your goals as stairs. You don't fly to the top. You take a step, then another, and each one matters. What matters more, that you notice them, pause, acknowledge, say to yourself, "I did what I promised." That's where trust begins, with yourself. Aristotle taught that excellence is habitual. What you do often becomes who you are, but habits aren't born from grand gestures. They're born from repetition, from doing even small acts enough times that they become your nature. When you track them, write them down, reflect on them, you program your mind to crave consistency. You teach your body to recognize, value the effort, not just the outcome. Socrates challenged those who thought they knew everything, yet lacked self-awareness. And today, one of the most neglected forms of awareness is recognizing what you've actually done. It's easy to overlook your own effort, especially when progress feels slow. But slow is still forward. Motion matters more than motivation, because motion breeds motivation. Here's a practical tool. Keep a done list each night, not a to-do list. A list of what you did, even if it's small. Getting out of bed, writing one email, resisting one temptation. It's not about measuring worth, it's about honoring momentum. Each time you acknowledge progress, dopamine is released. Your brain says, this matters, do more. Motivation isn't mystical, it's a system. You activate it when you notice movement. So don't wait until the mountaintop to celebrate. Recognize each step, each choice to keep going. Sometimes words can't reach what we feel, but then a song plays and suddenly our emotions rise to the surface. A strength returns, tears fall, and it finally makes sense. That's the power of music. It's not just sound, it's emotional translation. We think of music as background noise while cooking or working, but it's actually a bridge between your conscious mind and your emotional core. The beat, the tone, the lyrics, they bypass logic and speak to your chemistry. Literally, music moves you, and dopamine responds. Carl Jung said the creative mind plays with what it loves. Music awakens that playful, raw part of you. It lets you feel without explaining, process without strain, express without shame. And neuroscience agrees, the music you love triggers reward circuits. It activates the same pathways as love, success, and joy. But unlike those events, music isn't rare. It's accessible, on demand. That's real power. The Stoics may not have had headphones, but they knew about rhythm. Epictetus taught alignment with nature and order. And music is precisely that. Organized sound that guides emotion. It can elevate, ground, energize, or soothe, depending on what your nervous system needs. Plato took it further. Music, he said, gives wings to the mind. He called it a moral law, a force that shapes the soul. And he was right. Music doesn't just mirror your mood, it shifts it. So curate your playlists like you curate your space. Make one for energy, one for grief, one for joy, one for peace. Use them intentionally like tools for healing. Because sometimes you don't need advice, you need a melody, not a fix, but a sound that holds space for what you're feeling. And music never judges. It doesn't demand solutions, it simply meets you where you are. That's healing. Sometimes all we need is to be held by something bigger than words. Socrates didn't write about music, but his call to know thyself fits perfectly here. Music helps you know yourself, your triggers, memories, longings. The songs you gravitate toward reveal the chapter you're in. So next time you feel numb or lost, don't force productivity. Don't scroll aimlessly. Press play. Let music speak. Let it move what's been stuck. Let it remind you. You're still here, still able to feel. Still in motion. There's a kind of exhaustion that no amount of sleep can touch. The kind that settles in after certain conversations, certain people. You walk away feeling dimmer, scattered. Less like yourself. That drain is real. It's your nervous system reacting before your brain has words for it. People carry energies. Some light you up, others weigh you down. If you've ever left an interaction feeling drained, your body picked up something true. Not everyone deserves access to your mind, your spirit, your peace. That access should be earned, not freely given. Carl Jung once said, when two people meet, both are transformed. Sometimes that transformation is uplifting. Other times, it's corrosive. You've felt both, and it's your duty to discern the difference, to lean into conversations that ground you and step away from those that fracture you. Stoicism teaches this well. Protect your inner citadel, your mind, your emotional center. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul is dyed with the color of its thoughts." But where do those thoughts come from? Often from the people around you. Their presence shapes your chemistry, not just your mood. Talking to the right person can lower cortisol. True connection boosts dopamine. Real friendship releases oxytocin, the chemical of safety and belonging. So ask yourself, who has access to your inner world? In an era of endless connections, we've mistaken quantity for quality. But one soulful friend is worth more than 20 surface relationships. Socrates warned, "Be slow to trust, but when you do, be loyal and true." That's wisdom. Be selective, be guarded. Your circle is either your shelter or your storm. Let's be clear. This isn't about cutting people off at the first sign of difficulty. Real connections survive hard seasons. This is about seeing patterns. If someone repeatedly drains you, makes you shrink, or diminishes your growth, that's not friendship. That's a contract to abandon yourself, and you owe that to no one. Aristotle viewed friendship as a noble virtue, not for status or entertainment, but for mutual development. He described 3 types: utility, pleasure, and the good. Only the good is rooted in mutual respect and a shared commitment to each other's best self. That's the kind worth holding on to. The rest, learn from them, then make space for something deeper. And here's the powerful part. You don't just choose your tribe, you become what you seek. Be the kind of energy you want to attract. Lift without performing, listen without fixing, celebrate without comparison. Energy isn't just what you absorb, it's what you emit. Plato said, like attracts like. Your presence, your boundaries, they set the tone. Clarity begins with self-respect. And self-respect is reflected in who walks beside you. Truncated for brevity, the entire final block of text continues. The world will keep spinning. The noise won't stop. But you get to choose how to show up. One breath, one step, one clear decision at a time. And in those quiet choices, you build a strength that doesn't shout. It endures. If this message spoke to something in you, there's more waiting. Check out the video on screen. It may be exactly what you need. Thank you for being here. Thank you for walking this path with Stoic Post. Until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and keep walking.